you have to follow the legal frameworks, and you should be knowing the consequences of your decisions in the legal premise only. Welcome aspiring civil servants. Welcome to the introductory lecture on the law optional for the UPSC Civil Services exam. Before going further, let me tell you about myself. My name is YASHBIR ROHILLA. I have been an aspirant for the UPSC Civil Services exam. During my UPSC journey, I appeared for the interview 4 times. In those 4 times, I appeared 2 times with law as one of my optional. Other 2 times I was having public administration as my optional. And in between my preparation, I had to change my optional from pub to law. There were various reasons for that shift. But just I want to tell you, it is very important to choose the right optional in the UPSC Civil Services exam. If you make your mind to change the optional in between your preparation, then you will be losing many things, and most important thing you will be losing is the time, which is most significant part during your journey. So it makes me the right person to tell you how to choose the right optional and how law can be one of the good choice for UPSC exam. In the first part of today's discussion, we will be discussing about various factors, aspects which need to be considered for selecting the right optional. Here are few factors which need to be considered before selecting the right optional. First aspect is scoring potential. What do I mean by the scoring potential? Everybody knows an objective optional can give you higher score in the exam. What makes an optional objective? The type of questions that are being asked in that paper. Like if they are very straightforward, they are having very clear-cut answer, it means the optional is objective. And if there are many answers are possible for the given question, it means it is subjective in nature. Optionals which are objective, for example engineering optionals, maths, students score very high marks in those subjects, and reason being objectivity of the optional. So we must keep objectivity in mind before selecting the choice of optional in the exam. Second factor which need to be considered is overlapping with the GS, General Studies syllabus. General Studies syllabus for prelims and for mains. If there is significant overlapping of any optional with the General Studies, then we can prepare multiple components of the exam simultaneously, which can save a lot of our time. Third, personal interest and expertise also important for choosing an optional, because if you are not interested, you are not feeling motivated after reading any optional, you will not be able to perform well in that optional. So person should choose optional of his interest. Sometimes people get it wrong that it is one's choice. It depends on one's mental orientation, psychological orientation, whether something is interested for him or not. You are right that personal interest comes from your psychological orientation, but it also depends on the syllabus of your optional. For example, some optionals like law, they are having a higher proportion of current affairs, and many things are very interesting because they make headlines in the newspaper. So the syllabus and its linking with the current affairs also makes an optional interesting, and that also can help you to remain motivated and focused during the study. Fourth factor is the time management. We know in the civil services exam, especially the mains exam, optionals and the general studies, both parts are very time consuming and both are having high weightage in the exam. If we can see GS, people are scoring 400 and more. It is considered as good score. But in optional, we can see out of 500 marks, people are scoring 300, 300 plus. It means when someone is scoring 400 from 1000 marks, it is good. But when someone is scoring 300 out of 500 marks in the mains, it is excellent. So, time management requires to give proportionate time for general studies and the for mains and for GS part. Here, choosing right optional can save a lot of time in the mains cycle, because if something is overlapping and the syllabus is like you can cover it within a short span of time, then you can do well in the mains exam. So keep in mind that how much time a subject will take to prepare it thoroughly. That should be one of the deciding factor for the optional. Fifth, performance in the UPSC exam. Most of the time this factor is not considered by the students while choosing the right optional, and every time UPSC publishes its reports regarding the performance of various optionals in the CSE, one can access that report from the UPSC website. Here I can tell you, like law optional since 2016-17 or before also is doing well. Its success ratio is around 15%, which is almost equal to the subject optionals of the literature. Many optionals of the literature, like different literature optionals we are having, they are also having the success rate in this range only, 15-16%, and law is also having the same success rate in the UPSC exam. And last factor that is not discussed by many while choosing the right optional. What do I mean by scaling in the UPSC exam? UPSC in the mains exam moderates the complexity between different optionals. Okay, and how they do it? They do it by applying statistical formulas to balance the difficulty level between different papers. So it becomes very important to know about the scaling in the UPSC. How scaling is done? UPSC, this is not the formal type of thing which I am sharing with you. I am just sharing you as per my experience in learning. In UPSC, if any optional is having lesser than 250 candidates in the mains, then UPSC considers raw scores as the final scores. Raw scores as the final score in the mains exam, and because of this, many times optionals having very few candidates in the mains, they perform extraordinary high. For example, in mathematics and in few engineering optionals, students scored paper 1 215 marks out of 250. In mathematics, people are scoring 380, 370. This has become possible because of these things. These are not public, but similar things happen in the UPSC. So this thing needs to be kept in mind. The candidates which are appearing in the mains exam, that also need to be considered while selecting the optional. Choose the optional for which the candidates are less, because your raw score will be considered as the final score. That will keep you high in the merit. I hope all these aspects are known to you. If not, these must be kept in mind while selecting the optional. After discussing these things, I want to discuss how law optional can be the good choice for your mains exam. What makes law optional as one of the best optional for the UPSC exam? It has high scoring potential. As discussed by me, scoring potential depends on the objectivity of an optional. What was the trend in the law optional? The questions were very straightforward, and we can write specific answers to the questions. and because of specific answers you can get very high score, and at the same time you are required to write about the various statutes, legal principles, and you have to link the current affairs, which makes writing mains answers very interesting as well and high scoring as well. Second, law optional is having good overlapping with your general studies syllabus, not only in the mains but in the prelims as well. We know the polity and the governance is one of the significant part in the prelims and the mains. So law optional, if we see the syllabus of the law optional, we study constitutional law, administrative law and international law. So all these topics are same as your Lakshmikant polity, and in paper 2 in the mains your polity and the governance part and the IR part, international relations part. Along with that, if we look at the whole syllabus, few topics like economic order at the international level, that is also the part of the syllabus, and your security, national security topics like terrorism, cyber security, those all topics also come in the law paper, so you can study them simultaneously for the prelims, for the mains and for your optional. In the paper 2 of the law optional, you will be studying environmental law and ethics. At the same time, you will be studying more things like IPR, which is a part of science and technology syllabus. By this we can understand that law optional is having a significant overlapping with the UPSC syllabus, general studies syllabus. So it makes a good choice, it makes a wise decision to choose law as a optional for your mains exam. Other factors includes law optional enhances your analytical and critical ability, because in this subject you will be studying real case laws, real examples, real cases, which makes you to think deeply and critically over the topics of general importance. So this skill also trains you to prepare for other components of the exam. So law is a good choice for this reason. Interdisciplinary knowledge, this is all discussed under the overlapping syllabus part, because you are studying many subjects at the same time. It will also help you in writing a good essay in the UPSC mains exam. You will be having many examples, many case studies in mind. You can quote them in the paper 2 of your mains exam. And at the same time, ethics, which is playing a significant role in the performance of your mains exam, that can also be done with proper depth, because you are studying number of things from the legal perspective, legal framework, statutes that can be quoted, that can be used as arguments in your answers. Not only as a part of your mains study, law optional will be used by you when you will be entering into the civil services. There you have to follow the legal frameworks, and you should be knowing the consequences of your decisions in the legal premise only, in the legal framework only. So you will be using same knowledge during your job as well. So this would be chosen as the optional. Command over language. Subject is so vast and diverse, it gives you a good vocab. That vocab can be used in preparing, in making you writing good answers in the mains exam, and that skill can be used across the GS papers, essay and the optional. So this should be the right choice. Again, legal awareness makes you one of the responsible citizen, aware citizen. You will be knowing the various consequences of decisions, legal decisions on your interest and the interest of the society. And finally, which I discussed with you, law optional includes current affairs. almost in every topic, which makes it much more interesting. When something is interesting, you will be more inclined to remain focused. It will also motivate you to give more hours to study the subject, and you can cover the subject thoroughly, because once you are motivated, you will be reading everything. Knowing the good potential of law optional for the UPSC exam, there are certain challenges one must be encountering while studying law. What are those challenges? Some of those challenges are reading diverse materials and sources. Law touches the life of every individual on the daily basis. You are having number of resources and materials in the market as well as online. So you get confused what to study and how much to study for a particular topic. That thing makes students not to choose law as the optional. But here at Plutus Academy, Plutus IAS, we will be helping you in selecting very few good materials, and I will be narrowing down on the sources you have to follow during your exam preparation. Second, notes making. There is a big challenge, how to make notes, because on a single topic there are number of Supreme Court judgments and various High Courts judgments. So anything which you study, if you take everything into account, it will make your topic very complex. We will be making notes very brief, concise, as per the need of the UPSC exam. And practicing answer writing is also very difficult in law. Why? Because generally people think that we have to write answers as we are writing answers for the judiciary exams. But in the UPSC Civil Services exam, there is a different pattern. You are required to change your writing pattern as per the Civil Services exam needs. And that need will be discussed by me thoroughly during the classes. We will be taking examples, we will be writing answers in the classes. And finally, mock test and previous year papers. There is no fixed source from where students can see what can be the appropriate answer for the PYQs. We will be taking few PYQs in every class. We will be discussing those questions in class itself. With this much discussion, we are going to end today's discussion. We will be coming with more lectures in the future. Thank you very much. You can contact us at Plutus IAS, Karol, Bagh. Thank you very much.